Howdo and welcome back. Well, it's brew day and I've just got everything prepared and ready. I've got my hops and I've got the spices, the coriander and the orange peel. I've got my malt ready. Pretty much I'm just waiting now for the steeping water to heat up in the little tea urn that I have here. 5 litres it holds. And I've just got a little muslin cloth. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but I've got a muslin cloth just inside it. And then when that has come up to about 67 degrees, I'm going to add 125 grams of rye. And I'll just let it steep then for 15 minutes. And I'm hoping this will give a little bit of like that rye pepperiness, that rye spiciness into the beer, which I think will go very well and marry with the yeast, which according to the packet has peppery notes, and also marry with the spices as well. So yeah, just waiting for the green light to show and then I can dump this rye into there, give it about 15 minutes, half an hour, somewhere between those two times, and then we can start by transferring it to the kettle, bring it all up to the boil and add the malt, and we're brewing. Okay, we're up to temperature. It didn't take long, just took about 15 minutes, and so I'm just going to add this rye to it and then we will let it steep. We'll let that steep for about 15 minutes to half an hour. I'm trying different times just to try and cut down the brew day as much as possible. This, by the way, is just a spaghetti holder. I think they're brilliant for weighing out your specialty grains. Very rarely do I need much more than what this will hold. And put the lid back on. And then you just dump them in. You put the muslin bag in all, to start with. Let the water heat up and you just pour it in. So that's that. This will take 15 minutes to half an hour, and then I'll come back and we'll transfer to the kettle and we'll start the brew day. Well, it's been just over 20 minutes, which for that small amount of rye I think is long enough to extract the flavour. You don't get any colour with rye, but hopefully it'll have that nice rye spicy flavour. So I'm just taking out the grain bag and just let that drain a little, and then I'm going to take this 5 litres and just top up the kettle. Well, pour it into the kettle and then I'll top it up to about 12 litres, heat it all up and add the malt. I've got the malt ready here. It's 700 grams of extra light dry malt extract, and I'm using 500 grams of the dry malt wheat extract, which I think is a mixture of pale malt and wheat. But I want this to be a nice, light, easy drinking beer, so that's why I'm using the extra light, just to balance it out. What I'm also going to do, once I've added the malt, is I'm going to adjust the water. So in here, I've got a little bit of gypsum, a little bit of Epsom salt, and just a pinch of lactic acid. And what I'm hoping that will do is just bring the pH down, hopefully to within that Goldilocks zone, 5.2 to 5.6 pH. And what I'm going to do is actually get a little bowl, scoop out some of the wort before it gets too hot, and just leave it to cool down to room temperature, or below 25 degrees, which is where my pH meter is set or calibrated to. And then I'm just out of interest, I'm just going to check the pH and see where we are. I think I said my local tap water pH is it's 6.8. Interesting, it's 6.8 out of the tap, according to my meter, but according to my water report it's 7.2. So obviously, as it's coming from the water plant through all the pipes into my tap, it's becoming more acidic, probably from all the copper or the minerals that's in the pipes. I don't know. But yeah, there's a little bit of a difference there between the water report and what my pH meter tells me is coming out of my tap. Now in Beersmith, I use Beersmith 2 or 3, something like that, the latest one. I didn't know this, but there is actually a water report. You can put your water report into the software, and when you're building your recipe and you're adding your ingredients like your malts and your hops and all of this, you can add water, and you can add your water profile. And then what you can do is you can ask it to convert it to a water profile for the style of beer that you're brewing. So I've done that, and it's surprising. You don't really need a lot of these chemicals just to change your water profile. So that's what I thought I'd experiment with today whilst I'm making this beer. But for now, before this cools, I'm going to get it in the pot. Going to top it up, and then we can get started. Right, I've got to be a little bit careful because this can be a bit hot. There we go. Oh. Yeah. There it is. It's on my spoon, and it's metal, so it didn't get damaged. Right, I'm going to turn this on now, and I'm going to top this up with some water, which I have here. I'll probably need some more though. Yes, I do. I need another 3 litres of water, so I'm going to go and get that now. And there it is. Get my stool. So that's 12 litres now, and we're just going to bring this up, turn up the heat, bring this up to about 80 degrees, and then I'll add the dry malt. I find it doesn't clump up half as much if you mix it in when it's around about 80 degrees, something like that. And then I'll take a sample and let that cool, and yeah, start adding the hops, bring it all to a boil, add the hops, and off we go. Well, it's 80 degrees now, 80 degrees C. So I've added the malt. I couldn't really do it on camera and film all at the same time, but the malt's in there now, and you can see it's all frothing up. So I'm going to have to keep my eye on this now, otherwise it's going to be up to here and overflowing. So I'll just keep my eye on it, keep stirring it, and bring it to a nice rolling boil. And there it is at 100 degrees, and we've got a nice rolling boil there. Oh, steaming up. So what I'm going to do now is add 28 grams of Northern Brewer. These are about 6.8% alpha acid, which should give me about a 28 IBU beer. So the hops are in, the garage is looking like a sauna, and there's nothing for me to do now except to wait. The fermenter's already cleaned and sanitised. Yeah, might as well pour a pint, eh? You've got to have a pint on brew day. So that really is it. There's just the one hop addition, those 28 grams of Northern Brewer. What I am going to do in about 10 minutes, because that's been going for about 5 minutes now, in about 10 minutes, so halfway through, because it's only a half-hour boil, I'm going to add a little bit of Irish moss, which will help with the clarification of the beer, the clearing of the beer. And then with just 5 minutes left to go, I'm going to add the coriander, which was a tablespoon or 5 grams of coriander seeds. And coriander seeds are really small, but I just broke them up with a pestle and mortar until I could start to smell the coriander. So I knew I'd released those flavour and aroma oils. And it's just 10 grams of the Brew Firm Belgium dried orange peel. So they're going to go in with just 5 minutes to go, and they'll boil for 5 minutes. And that's it. Turn the heater off, transfer to a fermenter, let it cool until pitching temperature. And on the packet for M29 French Saison by Mangrove Jacks, it's between 26 and 29 or 30 degrees. Yeah, 26 and 30. So I'm probably going to ferment this at about 28, and we'll see what the beer tastes like in maybe a couple of weeks, 3 weeks. So I do like these 12 litre batches, they're really convenient. And also what I've found online, the Malt Miller's website, they sell these reconditioned, or you can get brand new if you want, 12 litre mini kegs. It's just like a normal corny keg, but it's just 12 litres, so it's like a stubby version. And what I've learnt is that, because one of my problems when you're talking about forced carbonating and kegging is I can't find anyone or anybody in my town that sells CO2, and it's expensive if you're going a few towns over, you know, and they don't really want to deliver just one CO2 tank to a home brewer. So it's always been a bit of a problem. But with these 12 litre little cornies, you can use a 60 litre soda stream, and there are lots of places that sell them in Blackburn, but also they exchange them. So even though your first one may cost you about £25, your second one may only be 15, because you're handing your empty and they give you a full one. And from what I've read on a forum, they will force carbonate, if it's 12 litres, they will force carbonate. You maybe get about 3 kegs worth out of 160 litre, 2 or 3 kegs worth out of 160 litre soda stream. So I'm thinking I might go down that route. And the Malt Miller, they also sell everything you need. It's like a kit, so you get your little corny, and you get all the little meters, I don't know what you call them, the pH, not the pH, the bar meter, and you also get the adapter for the soda stream. So you've got to screw this top onto the soda stream, and then you attach it to you know, to the keg, and yeah, you can carbonate your beer. So I'm really thinking I might go down that route, because I do like these 12 litre batches. So it's an option. It's an option. This is the last of my Kvike Lutra Lager. And I think it was just after Christmas I made this. My God, it's tasting nice now. Look at that head, really nice, thick, creamy head. Anyway, so that's it really. I don't think you need to see any more. That's my brew day. I'm just waiting now. Another 5 minutes, I'll add the Irish moss, and 10 minutes later I'll add the spices and the orange, and then just transfer. Right, well, thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you again in the next video. I don't know what I'll be talking about though. Bye bye for now.